Hey guys, welcome back. We are over on Master Duel Meta, as you can see right here, and we today want to take a look at the Duelist Cup March 2024 top 100 decks, as we always do when these top 100 lists come out. So these are the top 100 decks from the stage 2 of the Duelist Cup, and the first one I already saw, Ryan Yu, which is a very famous Labyrinth player in the TCG, came over here and won or made first place here with obviously Labyrinth, but a very interesting Labyrinth list, and there's also a lot of interesting stuff concerning Labyrinth that we will see on this list here. So a few things to note here. I think the Performer by 5 Rainbow Magician is quite unique, which you do play. I quickly have to read it myself so I don't tell you any stupid stuff. Each player applies one of these effects based on the number of set cards in their spell trap zones. 0 all monsters they control cannot attack. They cannot activate their effects. The attack of all monsters they become double their original attack. So I think you just place this in the pendulum zone, and if your opponent has no set card on the field, if they have no set card on the field, then they cannot activate or attack the effects of monsters. So you would need, as the player playing against this, set a card first in order to do anything here, and then you can go play with your monsters here. And then obviously Labyrinth might also have 4 or more set traps or spells, so that the attack of all monsters they control, so the Labyrinth player is then doubled. We can also see there is no transaction rollback here, so the new card, everyone, I saw it in the forums where the people were kind of like, oh my god, transaction rollback, way too strong. Oh, Arias, the Labyrinth Butler is also coming. If you not know what I'm talking about, you can check out the video in the top right corner where I talk about the leaks concerning the new support for Labyrinth. But as I already mentioned in the past videos, I think there's not a lot of space in the Labyrinth list to put a lot of these support cards in here. And he is, and I think this is a very good choice, Rivalry of the Warlords. He's playing the Rivalry. I was just, the weekend I was just on regional playing there, and there was the finals between Kashtira and Snake Eyes, and the Kashtira player was able to completely lock out the Snake Eyes player from playing the game with the Rivalry, which of course means that the Snake Eye player could only summon his Pyro monsters, most likely, which are the little level 1 guys, and you can't even tag out into your Snake Eyes Bird Dragon or something else, so you basically are locked in the little level 1 guys, which can do nothing. You don't have access to a Nightmare Phoenix, which is in a lot of decks to clear stuff like Summon Limit or a Gozen Match or stuff like this. So the Rivalry is definitely very nice against Snake Eyes. Other than that, nothing too specially besides the fact, as I already mentioned, no transaction rollback in this list. And we can see one lady, normally you are playing 2. Then here's the first Snake Eye list, and this is a theme that we will see throughout the entire top 100 here. A lot of the Snake Eyes, or I think nearly all of the Snake Eye lists, are playing a Kashtira package here, sometimes with, sometimes without the Fenrir, which I'm a bit surprised that we are playing the Kashtira package and then do not play like a Baron de Fleur here, because obviously you could go Kashtira Unicorn and an Ash would make a Baron. Same thing with the Diabell Star, of course. So I'm a bit confused that we are not at least putting the Baron in here. Obviously, the extra deck space is quite tight, but I think putting out a Pit Knight early would definitely be worth it for a Baron de Fleur in this list. We are playing the Supper version here, which is able to help you clear the board, and other than that, it's quite standard. There is 1 Birth and 1 Pressure Planet, so I guess we are just like searching these guys because obviously the extra deck gripping effect as well as the Fenrir effect is quite impactful. So if you are able to extra deck grip your opponent's Snake Eye, for example, and get rid of his Promethean Princess or his World Sea Dragon Atlantis, then you can definitely hinder your opponent quite a lot. And you might also be able to do this 2 times if your opponent interrupts you while having a Kashtira Unicorn on your first turn. And then you go into the second turn and the opponent's turn, then you might be able within the first moves in the second turn that your opponent does to rip out 2 cards of the extra deck, which is very impactful against Snake Eyes. We have the first Super Heavy Samurai deck here, which I am surprised that we do not see even on the ladder, right? So this deck nearly has disappeared from the ladder from tournaments, has not had a really strong hit in terms of power level, but I think with the upcoming banners that should come either day now, so tomorrow, the day after, I guess, we will, so the announcement for the banners, that is obviously the banners will only be in place then next month, so at the 10th or something like this, but I would be surprised if we do not see any Super Heavy Samurai hits here. Obviously the Soul Piercer is at 2, but this deck is still quite strong, being able to play a lot of hand traps, so no big surprise seeing this as high on the ladder as it is right now. The other cool thing obviously is now with a lot less people playing Super Heavy Samurai, And there are also less people playing Droll and Lockbirds in their main deck. As you can see, we had a time where basically everyone was maining Droll and Lockbird, and obviously this makes Super Heavy Samurai way better. Here we have the next list that looks kind of familiar to the first list, even though, yeah, there's a Kurikara in there, but other than that, it's quite similar. There is the Baron I'm talking about, so I definitely think this makes a lot of sense. Once again, the Castillo package seems to be the way to play this at the moment, and also Subversion, which is a card I also tried and I didn't find it that amazing, but here's the Castillo package once again. Definitely something I will try out in the future, another snacker list. And then we have this, and I was looking at this and I wasn't quite sure why we were playing like Crimson Gaia and stuff, but not a single synchro monster, but we could Tuna. So you don't really, you need a light and dark Tuna, right? One Tuna plus, okay, you could also go with a normal Tuna, which would be this fire Tuna here. So this definitely helps you get into your Chaos Angel, that is. But other than that, I was a bit surprised on seeing this and not quite sure what we do with this, because I mean this can obviously search this guy, and then this can also search. This is not mentioning that. Also, Fiendish Golem is not. So this can normally revive something. So a red dragon archfiend from the graveyard, but we have none in the extra deck. So I'm super surprised with not seeing any extra deck monsters that fit this style here, this archetype. That is what surprised me here the most. And we have the Power Sing Stone, which is something we saw last Duelist Cup as well. I think each time a monster effect is activated, place one Spellstone counter on this card, max 2. While this card has 2 Spellstones counters, face-up monsters on the field cannot activate their effects, and their effects are negated. Okay, so basically you are locking your opponent out of activating more than 2 monster effects. Very interesting, and then it resets at the end of the turn, and then you can also only activate 2, but you might be able to destroy it. Also, as a Labyrinth player, obviously you are not that in need of activating monster effects, so this works out. We have global rank 9 here, which this tells you that the guy has played multiple decks. We can see the Ryan Yu list basically here, we can see the Super Heavy Samurai list, and then another Kashtira list. So this basically looks like a conglomeration of all the lists we've seen before. I really like the Labyrinth player playing Rivalry, Gozen, and Skill Drain, because I think flipping any of these against nearly any deck, especially Skill Drain, is just game over, because we do not have a side deck, and you can basically skip the game. Obviously, if you go second and draw these, that's a bit sad, but you are still able to discard them with the furniture guys, so that might not be that bad. And once again, we see there is no transaction rollback here. And this is not because the card is weak, just because there's not a lot of space in here. We can see rank 10 with another Snake Eyes with Kashtira package here, and then he also played Vanquish Soul and Tear Elements. It would have been very amazing if rank 10 would only be this Tear Elements deck, because that would definitely say or tell us that this Tear Element deck works, right? But it could be that this guy played, I don't know, 5 games Tear Elements, and then for the rest of the time he played a bit of Vanquish Soul and then a bit of Snake Eyes. So we can't be very sure that this Tear Element list is really nice. We will get new support for the Tear Element stuff who come in the Horus cards, which are definitely nice for the deck. But as of right now, I think Tear Elements is a bit of an overstatement, can definitely work, and is still a fun deck if you ask me. But I like it that Konami left the Tear Elements deck in a state that it can be played, but it's not super oppressive. We have global rank 11, and there is a pure Tear Element list, as I just talked about. Nice. Together with the Kashtira stuff, he ordered a bit of a Kashtira list here. Very nice. He was, it seems to be able to play this deck and come to global rank 11 with only playing Tear Elements. Very, very impressive. Obviously a very skill intensive deck that you can, so I guess this is always a deck that can achieve quite a lot, because it's a very high skill cap deck, so it's not an easy deck, and if you are a good player, you can definitely get the most out of this. We have global rank 12 with another Snake Eyes / we have a Fallen of Albaz and a Branded Fusion in here. A very weird list. Once again, the Kashtira package, but then also a branded package, which is crazy, thinking about the fact that we do not really have space in our extra deck, but now we have to make space here, and we are playing Albion the Sanctifier Dragon, but not Gimmick Puppet. Is Gimmick Puppet at the moment, is it forbidden, or am I? It is not, so why are we not playing this? Very, very strange. Yeah, interesting, but I don't really get the Sanctifier here, but maybe I'm missing something. You obviously could go Sanctifier, summon a Fallen of Albaz on your side of the field, and then make a Mirror Jet on your opponent's turn by fusing something away, which I definitely think is quite nice. But other than that, I am a bit confused here. We have a pure Abomod 2. This is a guy who is often playing in the cups that I'm also playing in. So really good branded player. A 60 card list here with a lot of stuffs in there. A big bestial package. And other than that, nothing too fancy here. Triple tactics thrust. And yeah, we can set, if you do not get the branded fusion through on your turn, you can set the fusion application with the thrust and then branded fusion on your opponent's turn, which is definitely quite nice. We have another Labyrinth list here with the stone again, with the floodgates again, and with no transaction rollback again. So don't you guys worry about too much Labyrinth support, because as you can see, the best Labyrinth lists do not even play the new support cards. And I'm not quite sure whether Labyrinth will play a lot of Arias, the Labyrinth Butler, even though it's quite strong, but this is just a space issue, right? Because there are a lot of good cards that you can put in this deck right now. Very interesting that everyone is playing this Power Sing Stone. I'm not sure if I really at 3 red, this is crazy. So going second, this is obviously a dead card, so I'm not sure how much I like this, but hey, seemed to work out. We have a Vanquish Soul list here, nothing too special as I scroll through. We have a Mathme list, which definitely is not too surprising. Mathme has got or received some hits. Namely the Silent Mining to 2 and the Diameter to 1. Parallel Seed to 2 doesn't really make a difference. I was playing this all the time with 2 Parallel Seed because I didn't like having this dead Parallel Seed in my deck. So if you draw 1 Parallel Seed, so obviously if you draw 2, that's a problem. But if you draw 1, you can then use the other one, and then you don't have a third one in your deck that's dead. Yeah, so this is why I always played this at 2 basically. So nothing really changed for the Mathme deck. This deck is really strong still, so not a big surprise in seeing this. This has fast games. This can kill the opponent fast, can kill the opponent fast on the second turn, so I'm not surprised here. VLAN Hydra, I've never seen this card. Interesting. And then another guy who played 2 different Snake Eye versions here. One with Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, which I do not think is a very good card at the moment. Maybe he thought the same and switched it out. He switched it out for Nibiru's, which I think is the way better option here. And other than that, this list seems to be the same. We have, and once again, the Kashira package here, but without the Fenrir, which I don't really get. I think if I would play the Kashira package, I would definitely play Fenrir, because Fenrir's banishing effect is very, very strong. Also gives you access to a unicorn, can search a unicorn, which is basically a free add to your hand. I would definitely run only 2 unicorns in favor of 1 more Fenrir, or just the Fenrir in here. But that's something I would also have to try out. We have global rank 85 here with 3 different decks. Once again, a tier elements deck with Offerings to the Doom. Target don't face a monster on the field, destroy that target. Also skip your next draw phase. What the? Okay, very interesting here. Skipping a draw phase is obviously a big cost to pay, though it's actually only like discard 1 card if you want to like look at it that way. And then you can obviously pop your own element monsters and force a fusion summon on your opponent's turn, which the idea is quite neat. We have a transaction rollback finally, and obviously different dimension ground, which is very nice against a lot of decks, namely tier elements, namely Snake Eyes. And then the guy changed over to Snake Eyes with Ghost Mourners and Ghost Ogres, which I don't really get. I think there are a lot of better hand traps, or you could also play Talents, something like this. I would do this before I would play Ghost Ogres. I mean, the Mourners are fine, the Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill, which are basically additional versions of your Effect Veilers or your Infinite Impermanences. Also 46 cards, which definitely you can do, but I would opt to not do it like this. I would not play that many cards, but he was quite successful with this. Another super heavy samurai list, nothing too special here, besides having 2 Fantastical Dragon Fantasme. For those of you not aware of this card, this is basically when your opponent link summons, which Snake Eyes does a lot. Then you can, from the hand, summon the Fantasme. Then you can draw cards up to the number of link monsters your opponent controls, +1. And then you have to get rid of as many cards as your opponent has link monsters. So you're basically drawing 1 card. So you're, no, the other way around. You're drawing cards to the number of link monsters your opponent controls +1, but then you also have to reshuffle into your deck basically everything but the +1 cards. So you draw 5 cards and you have to reshuffle then 4 of them, which can definitely also be other hand cards, hand traps. But in a world where we can play Maxi, I don't see why we should play a Fantastical Dragon Fantasme. But I think in Super Heavy Samurai it could make sense, because they are also you can't play like Infinite Impermanences, right? And if you are facing a lot of Snake Eyes, which you definitely can expect in the Duelist Cup, then this definitely is a good decision. We have global rank 8-5 with pure Kashtira list, a bit of a stun deck here with Dimensional Fissure, which they can obviously play, and then Necro Valley, and then we also have Super Heavy Samurai, so we also switched over, and we have another list here, once again with the Performer Pearl Rainbow Magician here, 60 card branded list. We have another Super Heavy Samurai list, nothing too special. We have seen this card a number of times, target 1 Tuna or 1 level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro Monster and effort special, summon it in defense position. Okay, being able to summon a Tuna. Okay, interesting. Obviously makes sense in this deck that it also has some Synchro Monsters here. But yeah, very interesting, I would say, with the decks that you were expecting to have top tier. We can also quickly take a look at the tier list. Makes sense. We have Snake Eyes and Labyrinth actually at the top here. I have definitely seen less branded lists than I would have expected. Tier limits also at tier 2 here. Very interesting. Then Mathme and Vanquish Soul, the only deck not being here but being on the tier list is Manadium. But yeah, I can understand not getting or not using Manadium in the climb up to the Duelist Cup level 2. But yeah, very interesting to look at this, what the pro players are doing or the best players are doing. Basically, go ahead, copy these lists, go play them on the ladder. Obviously, the ladder is the same as the Duelist Cup, especially if you are very high on the ladder. You can just basically copy these lists and be probably successful with them, because the decks that you will face will most likely be equal or similar to the decks that they have faced here in the Duelist Cup. So yeah, this is always very interesting. Let me know in the comments whether you find these kinds of videos, these kinds of videos interesting. Thanks for being here, guys. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell to never miss out on a video and to help the support the channel. That would mean a lot to me. Thanks for being here. I wish you a great day, and we will see each other in the next one.